I'm following my favorite hockey team and rating each one of the opposing team's arenas to see which one's the best. But in order to understand why I'm doing this, I have to take you back a little bit. The year is 2015. Donald Trump announces he is running for president, and Harambe is still alive. It was also this year that my family and I took our very first trip to New York. Because staying in Manhattan is incredibly expensive, we decided to stay in New Jersey and then take the train over in the morning and then return back at night. Now, for those unaware, Penn Station, which is the train station that we took every day, is actually located underneath Madison Square Garden, and which also happens to be where the New York Rangers play. Well, one night, as we were on our way back to the hotel and we had reached Penn Station, we had noticed that Madison Square Garden was lit up. And when the arena is lit up with the colors, that means that a Rangers game is on. And just because we're Canadian and love hockey so much, we decided to pop our heads in and just see who they were playing. And to our shock, it was none other than the Calgary Flames. Now, because we were a little occupied with our trip, we didn't realize that our sports team was actually going to be playing right while we were there. And even though the game had already started, we rushed in to try and get some tickets to watch the end of the game, but unfortunately, the box office was closed down and we were out of luck. This was an incredible disappointment because it was unlikely that we were ever going to have the chance to see our team play there again. Which brings us back to 2024, and we're headed back out to New York again. And it just so happens that our team is playing again while we're there. And to make sure that we make up for our loss last time, we're going to go to every game on their road trip, starting in Boston. So we hopped on a plane and made our way over to the East Coast, where we landed in Boston. We've arrived in Boston. Still have a few hours to kill, so I'm spending some time at the aquarium. The aquarium is definitely worth checking out. You know, they had a lot of neat fish and also some more interesting things. What are the penguins doing? My guess is each other. But after a while, I started to get hungry, so we went and got some giant lobster rolls for lunch.
Alright, go ahead.
Pretty soon it was game time, so we strolled up to the TD Garden to get in. Now, the location of the arena is great because it's right downtown and there's a train station below it, so there's easy access getting in and out of the game. I'm going to rate them at a 8 out of 10. Inside the arena, we got a good view of the whole place and made our way down to the bottom to watch the practice. It's definitely surreal to see your team in a foreign place, but still really cool nonetheless. After the practice, we made our way up to the seats for the start of the game. And for the price, the seats were pretty good, so I'm going to give them a 7 out of 10. During the game, the Bruins came out pretty strong. But despite a few good opportunities, the Flames were the ones that were able to take the lead. And even ended up getting a little bit physical. During the intermission, we went and got some food, which had a good variety and tasted okay, but was a little bit expensive, so I'm rating it a 5 out of 10. Getting back into the game, and Boston managed to come back and score their first goal. But unfortunately, it didn't go any further for them, as we managed to put a couple more goals away and win the game 4-1. Altogether, Boston was a really nice arena, and all the people were super nice, so I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, which brings their final score to 29. Moving away from Boston, our next stop was New Jersey, and we had a long way to go. But like any idiot tourist, I had some stops to make along the way, and one of those things was the Plymouth Rock. With an entire town named after it and a 4.4 star rating on Google, this had to be the most amazing rock that you've ever seen.
That's just a stupid boulder!
It's not just a boulder! It's a rock!
I also stopped in Providence to take a picture of myself dressed as Quagmire on Spooner Street.
Giggity, 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 goo!
And after a long day of driving, we had made it into Newark, where again, we had a bit of time to kill, so we went to the American Dream Mall, which was really cool, but it wasn't long before the sun started to go down and it was game time. Getting to the arena was okay, but Getting out after was a long process just because of all the traffic, so location for Jersey is getting a 6. On the other hand, our seats were great. Because of the fact that Calgary isn't a big rival, these tickets were super cheap and our seats were fantastic. The Devils immediately came out and put the game up 1-0, and then proceeded to try for a few more, which made the game really intense and exciting. In between periods, we went for food, which was actually quite good and not terribly priced either, so I'm going to put that as a 8 out of 10. The rest of the game was just as good, and we had some moments where we were really on the edge of our seats. But despite New Jersey's best efforts, we still managed to stay on top and win our second game of the trip. Although the game was quite exciting to watch, I'm going to have to put the vibe at about a 6 as it wasn't anything special. Now my girlfriend is a big fan of the New York Islanders, so I'm going to have to be quite critical of the next arena. We got to the UBS Arena nice and early for the game, and the whole park around it was super cool and almost like a mini carnival. The inside was super nice too, which helps when the arena is basically brand new. So because of this, I'm going to put the vibe at a 9, but the location is going at a 6 because it's a bit out of the way and traffic getting out after the game was very slow. As per requested, we got there early, so we had plenty of time to watch the warm-up before the game, and then once we made our way up to our seats, we were ready for the start of the game. The price of the seats for where we were sitting was decent, but I feel like it was a bit overpriced considering how much cheaper the previous tickets were, but I'm assuming they're higher just because of the fact that the arena is brand new and along with the chairs, so, you're definitely getting what you're paying for. So because of this, I'm going to rate the seats at an 8. During the intermission, we went out and I got the Islander burger, which is this blue and orange chicken sandwich, which, although expensive, was really good.
Good though.
The rest of the game was great, and again, despite the opposing team's best efforts, Calgary was once again able to hold out and win the match, which unfortunately left some very unhappy fans. And here we are back in New York. I am freezing. Let's go inside. After almost 10 years of a lost opportunity, I had returned to Manhattan. But because we were early, I had some time to kill and needed to reminisce. So as I explored the city, I began to wonder, would we win all 4 games straight? New York is currently the top team in the league this season, so this was going to be an incredible challenge. All we could do was hope. Once again, nighttime had rolled around and it was time for one last game. After missing it 9 years ago, it was time to witness the game that we should have seen so long ago. Obviously, for the location, I'm putting MSG at a 10 because it's located right in the heart of the city and is built on top of the train line. The tickets for this one were basically the same price as all of the other ones put together, which isn't really a surprise. However, because of our seat location, they wouldn't allow us to go down and watch the practice at the start of the game, so for that reason, I'm putting them at a 4. I also went and got a burger prior to the warm-up, and I gotta say, definitely the worst food out of all the arenas. For one, I paid $30 for 2 burgers, which I kind of understand, but the burgers weren't even good. They were way too salty and didn't really have any flavor, so that was a bit of a disappointment, so they're getting a really low score for that one. But despite all that, I was just excited for the game to finally start and experience what it was like to truly see a game at MSG. The game started out slow, but quickly ramped up. Both teams went all in, and after a bit of back and forth and a few close chances, the first goal was scored. Unfortunately, not by Calgary. In the end, our road trip win streak was cut short by only a single goal and then another empty net from the team we had most hoped to beat. It was at this moment I felt the same disappointment. However, despite losing, we had came and seen a game that we should have seen years ago, and it definitely lived up to the hype. So for the final score, I'm giving the New York Rangers a 27. Which I guess technically makes the New York Islanders the real winners. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and until next time.